Well, hello. Good morning. Happy New Year and welcome to 2021. My name is Ali Board and I am broadcasting from my studio, Down End Farm Studio. A huge welcome if you haven't ever joined me before, and an even bigger welcome if you are returning. Now, you may be watching this on catch up. You may be watching this via YouTube or my blog, but if you are watching me live this morning, then you're probably on Facebook. And I can already see that there's a huge amount of people in the room. So let me say some hellos. Mr. Templeman, sup? Good morning. Thank you for being the first to post of these Technique Tuesdays. Joanna, Ali, Carolyn, Leanne, Heather, Rosie, Ali WT, Hilary, Pauline, Sue, Lou, Denise, good morning. Linda, Cheryl, oh, you're coming in so fast. Sandy, Rosie, Lynn, Pam, Sharon, Joy, Lynn, Anna, Patricia, Wendy, oh my goodness, Wendy's in Melbourne, Gwenda, and everybody else. You are all so welcome. Thank you ever so much for tuning in. Now, some of you are noticing the new broadcasting booth that we have with the new Down End Farm Studio just beyond you. We're still doing a few tweaks to things. We've still got some things to do ahead of our big launch on Saturday. But I have my coffee in a purple mug, so who cares? And I'm going to have a swig right now. Now, who else have we got in the room? Margaret says she is out walking her dog and may fall over. Please don't do that. Yes, let's not start 2021 like that. Joe, good morning. Mick, Jilly, Vivian, good morning to you. Thyra, Dee, good morning, you gorgeous human being. Sally, Pippa, Jill's in the room. Everybody is here and present. There are 92 of you at the moment. Goodness me, good morning, Ruth. My apologies if I don't get to say hello. I promise I will go back through all the posts afterwards. Steph is saying it's very wet in Northamptonshire. It's a bit grizzly here in Dorset too. What better way to be passing the morning than to spend it in each other's company? Melanie is saying that she's liking the purple. Yes, I kind of, it's me. I went all out on the purple. Why wouldn't you? I managed to get purple screens. There's my purple toolbox behind me. Why wouldn't you do that? If you've got to buy these things, buy them in your favourite colour. What else is... lots of people are saying that they like the new broadcasting booth. Jan and Annette, good morning. Sandy, hello you. And yes, if you're liking the broadcasting booth, you won't be able to believe what we've got in the studio, but I'll tell you more about that later. Now, today's broadcast is a very gentle one. We're not going to really kind of rocket back into 2021. We're going to have more of a discussion because I've got new tech to sort out this morning. It's all going on. So rather than put ourselves under huge amounts of pressure at the start of the year, let's get a coffee in, let's have a chat and be in each other's company, because that is far more important. Now, who else have we got? Marianne, good morning. Tracy, good morning. Sarah is saying it had to be purple. Of course it did. Sarah's known me for a long time. And who else have we got? Oh, it's sunny in Yorkshire. Good morning, Linda. Joe, Chris is saying, and order is restored, bless you, or disorder in my case. And Gary, good morning, saying very smart. Thank you very much, Gary. Now, I don't know where you're watching the world. I know that there's a few of you in France and Canada and Australia and America tuning in this morning. I do hope that you're staying very safe. If you are in the UK, of course, we are in our third phase of lockdown. And I was thinking long and hard about this. we've got a lot of things to navigate over the coming months, but the good news is there's light at the end of the tunnel for all of us. So I aim to bring you a little bit of positivity on a Tuesday morning. You can forget all the politics, you can forget all the nonsense that's going on outside. We're going to talk about creative things, about art, about materials, about stuff. Because what's better than talking about stuff? Now, it doesn't matter if you are a creative person, if you are a painter, if you are a maker, if you are a crafter, you are all very welcome. Photographer, even if you have no interest in art whatsoever, but you thought you might tune in because it's nicer to be doing this of a Tuesday morning than anything else. Share this with your friends. I say there's this mad dotty woman in Dorset who loves to talk about art and craft, have a bit of escapism. That is what Technic Tuesday is going to be all about in the coming weeks. Jean, good morning. Good morning to Terry too. Barbara. The lovely Carol is in the room. And I'm going to talk more about Carol later. Carol didn't know I was going to talk about her, but I'm going to talk more about her later. Liz, Anne, Linda, Brenda, you are all astonishingly welcome. Now, there's some few bits of news. Those of you who follow me on social media will know that over the Christmas and New Year period, we basically took my studio, ripped it apart, put it all back together again, so that we have better broadcasting areas for you, better ways of being able for you to access us online. And by us, it's like a royal us. I do mean me, I do mean my lovely husband who has been building the studio, been working like you wouldn't believe over the Christmas and New Year period. And of course, we'll be broadcasting hopefully on behalf of lots of other groups and associations too. So you've got the SAA, you've got Search Press, and don't forget Artist Demo Days too. Oh, we have Lauren who's saying all the best for 2021 from me in South Africa. Long way away, but isn't the internet a marvellous thing? We don't feel like we're so far away. So yes, this Saturday, I'm going to say it to you, this Saturday and Sunday, we are relaunching the studio. We're doing it virtually because obviously you can't come and visit. And if you're in Melbourne or South Africa or Florida or wherever you are, then you can't come and visit, which is rubbish. So we're going to be doing it virtually. So that's this Saturday and Sunday, the 16th and 17th of January. It all kicks off on Saturday at 10 a.m. If you are around at the weekend, it would be lovely for you to join us. There's going to be all sorts of things going on. There's going to be a video that we have shot, a bit of a tour of the studio that we did last weekend. That's going live at 11 o'clock on Saturday. And also there's all sorts of special offers on the website, all sorts of kind of handy bits of information about things you can find, where you can go to get video recordings, free resources, all of that kind of stuff. Now, who else have we got? Lots of people saying good old bees. Carol, please don't worry. Please don't worry. That's fine. Who else have we got in the room? Rabina is saying, my husband says he already has a mad dotty woman in his life. Well, now he has two. Lynn is saying that she missed us, and Barbara's in the room too. Always very lovely to have you here. And I can see you all nice and clearly now because we have new tech. Now, the project that I wanted to share with you this morning, because if you did see a bit of my social media, you will have seen me asking you for questions. There's no point me demonstrating things during Technique Tuesday if it's not stuff that you want to see. So I did invite some questions. I'm going to tackle some of those in a minute. There's an Andrew Dobbins in the room as well. Good morning, Andrew. So I was asking you for questions about things that you would like to see, but I thought I would show you a project that I have been working on. So I'm going to take you to the overhead camera and let's show you. Now this is one of my sketchbooks. Now, those of you who know me well know that I don't particularly like a sketchbook. I find it a little bit restricting. So I call it a sketchbook, but really it's a scrapbook. Anne is saying, bring your own wine to the opening. Good morning, Susan. So I don't particularly draw in my sketchbooks. I tend to use them for pulling things together for kind of assimilating ideas. And this is the one that I was using last year. Now, the pictures that are on the cover, a lot of you, again, will know that my family history is very important to me. So these are photographs of the female line in my family, particularly my grandmother and my great-grandmother. Got all sorts of things, photographs that we have in our family collection. And I thought I would take you through this sketchbook to encourage you to create one of your own. Now, you might notice what this is. This is, you all know my mum because she's featured in many broadcasts. She created a little thing for me to keep my lipstick in whilst it was on my sketchbook. Isn't that clever? Got to have your lipstick, haven't you? Now, let's take you through my sketchbook. And you can see exactly why I should really be calling it a scrapbook rather than sketchbook. I tend to shove all sorts of stuff in here. Stickers, bits of ephemera that I find, old postcards, a few kind of sketches. And then I tend to find things that I've lost. So as you know, particularly from my book or my DVD, I do have a love of stencils and stenciling. So I've obviously shoved these in here this morning. I probably could have done with that at Christmas, couldn't I, if I'd have found that? It's amazing what you find when you have a tidy up. So things like where I've done a bit of research on pigments, all sorts of things. Let's get to a more interesting page. Here we go. Here's an interesting page. One of the many sketches that I've done of a teasel head in a bit of water-soluble ink. And here's some work that I work in collaboration with my mum an awful lot. She's a fantastic, I don't want to call her a seamstress because that's a sort of downgrading what she does really, but a textile artist we will call her. And there's lots more news of those things to come up in 2021. What else have we got in here? Oh, look, good old Brusho. A few notes. Because my dad was a stationer, I do have a bit of a love of bits of stationery. There's a microphone paper clip there. Here we've got some experiments with watercolour on Yupo paper. So that very shiny paper, which is often used for alcohol inks. I've obviously done some work with cling film and salt here. A few experiments and scribblings and writings. What else we got? Oh, a bit of mono printing I've done here in a dull day. Oh, here we go. Here's an interesting page. Some experiments that I was doing with using a computer and watercolour. Some experiments I was doing with resin and watercolour, using resin for the white lines. Good morning, Helen. Morning, Anne. Morning, Carol. Good morning, Sandra. Here we've got, now I was looking at this before. Here's a painting of a snowdrop that I did, and I vividly remember absolutely hating this painting. I really, really hated it. But now I look back at it and I think, why did I hate it? It's okay. It's passable. I mean, it's not going to light any fires, but it looks like snowdrops. And there was a question. Now, who asked me? Patricia asked me about if you're doing small flowers, how do you make them recognisable? I do tend to scale them up, Patricia, and I do tend to make sure that I'm choosing flowers that have a real personality. So you absolutely recognise what these are, and hopefully you recognise those as snowdrops. What else have we got? A bit of sketching to do with different sorts of pen and mark making. Morning, Debbie. We've got different kinds of mark with different kinds of pen that we've got here. A bit more of that. Oh, I haven't looked at this for ages. Bit of colour. Ooh, and we have a dandelion head. Now, again, this will have gone into the scrapbook because I didn't like it for some reason. Again, can't for the life of me remember why I didn't like it. It's okay. Might be interesting. I don't work in this colour palette very often. Good morning, Rachel. Big hug out to you, Rachel. And good morning, Mary, too. That's very kind of you to say. It's good to have me back. A few sketches, dandelions, obviously featuring a lot in my work. Oh, a very interesting photo. Oh, these were some photographs that I started accumulating on our trip to New York. Bit of ephemera. Is there anything else interesting in here? Not really. A few sketches. Oh, there's a sketch I did a couple of weekends ago of chirps, and this is particularly interesting because I did this with chirps standing in front of me. So there's the odd muddy splash mark, there's the odd chicken footprint, and she was absolutely determined to peck her way through my painting. So it's not the greatest sketch in the world, but what that does remind me is how chirps was there when I was painting it. So it brings back lovely memories. Things like this are not always about how great your artwork is. It's about recalling a memory and you having a nice kind of warm fuzzy feeling when you do that. Oh, and there's a bee and some other nonsense in the back. So that's the scrapbook that I had last year. I decided to put that to one side, and I have, it's like Blue Peter in here this morning, isn't it? I have created a new one for this year because I thought it would be interesting to keep a scrapbook of all the Technique Tuesday experiments that we do, and then at the end of this year, when we get to the end of the year, I can do a broadcast where we will flick back through it and we'll have a look and we'll remind ourselves of all the things that we did during the year. So I have taken an ordinary sketchbook. So this is just a board-backed, spiral-bound sketchbook. So Steph is saying would love a demo on teasels. Mine always look like blobs. I will add teasels to the list, Steph. I had some collage papers that were maps of England and Wales. There it is in kind of all its glory. And I used some washi tape, some of that kind of very thin, kind of vintage looking tape all the way around the back. To kind of stick it on. Done that on the front as well. And then I kind of went through my stack of stuff. Of course, as you can imagine, clearing out the studio, I found an awful lot of stuff. An awful lot of stuff. So I've been collaging my way through the beginning of the year. So we've got a little postcard with the bee logo. Again, stay tuned. I'm going to tell you more about the bee logo. There's a little butterfly, a bit of Zentangling that I did. If you were part of my Christmas Day broadcast, you will have seen me share how you did that. But let's open it up and we can see the first few pages of what's going on in the sketchbook. Bit of old music paper. I do have a bit of a guilty pleasure in junk journaling. And junk journaling, look it up. Rather than me describing it to you, look it up. There's loads of places that you can go to download little bits and pieces of things to do with junk journaling. But I also, as you know, collect all sorts of things as well. So there's a few very old bus and train tickets there. I found those when I was clearing out. Quite liked the look of those. I also found, many of you know my dad is a stamp collector. He's a philatelist and he gave me some of his old stamps over Christmas. So I found a little vintage envelope to put those in as well. It's all very twee, I know, but it makes me happy. And to be honest, that's as good a reason as any for creating something at the moment. And up here I've made a little pocket. I've got a few more bee postcards here, but here's a couple of things that we worked on at the end of last year. Here is a little artist trading card that I did a demonstration as part of my All Aboard Artists membership scheme, just on an old painting on a piece of watercolour paper. Quite liked that, so I'm keeping that. And again, if you tuned into my Christmas Day broadcast, you'll have heard me talk about how I created that little painting there, but I quite liked it. So rather than sticking it in, I don't know why, I just kind of like organising stuff. What's not to like about that? And then I have just a few notes here. Patricia was asking about the small flowers. There's a couple of other questions here. Linda was asking about glazes for a black cat. Linda, that's a really interesting question. She was saying that she was painting a black cat and she was trying to build up those colour layers. I am going to do a whole series of broadcasts on black and how to use it, Linda. I know that's not going to be any help to you in the short term, but actually in the long term it might be useful to you. Now, Hilary Pearson asked for some recommendation on pastel pencils, and Carol Kibble, if you are still in the room, that was why I was going to recommend you. For those of you who don't know, Carol is a fantastic pastel artist, and I was going to say, not only don't just look at some of the things that I have been demonstrating, have a look at the work of Carol Kibble. Her pastel portraits are utterly exquisite, so I recommend her highly. The other thing that you can do if you are an SAA member, SAA have just posted a video on demand piece that I did of a hare using pan pastels and pastel pencils. If you would like more information on those, then you can get in touch. So there's my sketchbook, there's my junk journal for the year. Here you go, you can already see that I've drawn in it. What's this slightly dodgy drawing in the back? This is the redesign for the new hen house that Bees and I are working on. More about that in social media another time. So let's go to front on. Now, I can see that lots of questions have come in. So let me see if I can address some of them. Ali D, I'm going to come to yours in just a second. Yeah, so I've got my little notepad here. So we need to talk about blacks. We want to do one on teasels. What else have we got? Patricia is saying, when you do teasels or something similar, is it possible to show how to create the look of frost, please? Wow, that's going to be a proper challenge because I have really struggled with that. But I'll stick it on the list and we'll see how we get on. Claire is asking, have you done or could you possibly do a lesson on pigments? I understand the colour mixing but get lost in the technical science bit of pigments, series 1, 2, etc. Also where the pigments actually come from and why they react as they do. Claire, yes, absolutely. I have that planned. There are some, as Dee I think points out, there are some old Technique Tuesdays where you can go back and look at some of that information, but I promise I will do more on that. There's more information to come about where you can find those broadcasts. Lots of people are saying that they like my scrapbooks. Oh, and the lovely Mick, who is poet extraordinaire in this group, has written Tuesdays here, so give a cheer. Ali's back to show us the knack to improve our art. What an excellent start for us all to enjoy. So don't be coy, just show us your sketching. I'm sure we'll find them rather fetching. Mick, I genuinely don't know how you think of things that fast. Thank you very much for that. What else have we got going on? Marion is saying, I'd love to see demos on how to use various watercolour grounds, crackle paste and others. I bought them but not used them in conjunction with Brusho. So we need a bit of information on mediums. Linda F is asking if Carol is on YouTube, and Carol is commenting in the post as well. And Carol is saying that she likes Faber-Castell Pitt and also Carbothello pastel pencils. What a lady of quality she is, because those are my two favourites too. And when two people are telling you the same thing, that's as good a reason as any, isn't it? Thank you very much, Carol. Lots of people have seen my hair demonstration on the SAA. Awesome. Carol's saying that she's not on YouTube, but she does have some videos on her Facebook page. And the awesome and wonderful Tara Paul is in the room. Tara is one of the SAA team. Thank you very much for tuning in. It's very lovely of you to be here. Aren't the SAA team fantastic in their support of everything I do? I'm really grateful for that. Now, let's give you all that information on the launch of the brand spanking new Down End Farm Studio, which is happening virtually on Saturday and Sunday. It all kicks off. You can follow it on Facebook. You can follow it on Instagram. You can wallop over to my website right now to get a bit of a look. and possibly my camera has frozen. So I'm going to switch to a different camera just in case. Let's do that. That's not working either. Okay, let's just log that back in, see if we can get that in. I'm carrying on talking, so hopefully you can still see me. You've got my overhead shot. My front on cameras have failed for some reason. I don't know why, but ho-hum. So that's technology for you. But you should have my overhead now. Yes, that was a really unfortunate pose for me to end on, wasn't it? But you should have my overhead shot now. I'm going to start waving so that you get a better version of it. So let's give you that information about where you can find all the new stuff. In fact, let's give you a much better look. Let's give you a sneak peek as to the new Downend Farm Studio logo. So there it is. It has the bee, and if you want to read more about the bee and why it's so important to me as a logo, pop over to the website, look at the Downend Farm Studio thing. I'm going to be adding to that over the weekend so that you can see lots more. And let's go back to my overhead shot so that you get to see me slightly more animated. What else have I got to give you? The one thing that I do have to tell you about is the Facebook class that I have coming up. And the Facebook class, if you go either onto my social media or over on the Facebook, over on my website, then you will be able to join me for a class where we talk about Facebook. I'll try to take you through it. I will try to give you a very gentle lead into Facebook about what you can do with it, things questions that you might have, all of that type of thing, where you might be struggling with it as a medium, all of that kind of stuff. So pop over to that. It's only £3 to take part, just because, just to make sure that you keep your place, and I will help you with that. Now, if you have any questions about the open day, let me show you this. So we have a virtual opening invitation. Join us to celebrate the New Look Studio Saturday the 16th and Sunday the 17th of January. Like I said, starts at 10 a.m. If you want to see the new studio, log into my social media at 11 a.m. because there'll be a nice video going up all about that. The website has all been updated. There's going to be huge offers, discounts, videos, all sorts of things that you can take part in, and I will be popping up occasionally on social media to answer any questions that you may have. So I hope that gives you a few things to look forward to. Now, my apologies that the front on camera has absolutely decided to fail. That is slightly typical, isn't it? But never mind, I'm still here. I'm still in the flesh. You can see my waving hands. It's like a magic trick. We'll go and give those gremlins. It's because I haven't been here for several weeks. That's why it is. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you with that invitation. Oh, has the camera decided to work now? I think the camera's decided to work. Oh my goodness me. So I'm going to say goodbye to you really quickly before something happens to that camera and I don't get the chance again. So now we'll be back again next Tuesday, 10 a.m. as always. No matter where you are in the world, stay really safe. Look after each other. Lots of positivity going into 2021. Take care of yourselves, and hopefully I will see you at the weekend as the studio goes live. You take care, everybody. Bye.